and want to bring it up just because I want to. I'm not going to look. If you want to find out about how to dispute and do all kinds of things to get your property taxes down, the great news is that social media being what it is, we have a lot of realtor partners that have a lot of great videos and a lot of great posts about where to get your taxes protested, how to file your homestead, do all these kind of wonderful things. These are all things, and we'll get to a few of these that you can do to kind of minimize your property tax a little bit, because most people right now are feeling like this guy over here in the corner that says, County Assessor be like, 2019 tax assessment, $500,000 for this little guy right here, this little shack. And you know what, for some of us, it's not too far off from the truth, right?
Right.
But what I want to talk about a little bit is I want to put a few things in perspective, okay? Now, I'm not going to argue the fact that taxes are, nobody likes taxes, okay? Nobody likes paying taxes. It sucks. And especially when you buy a new house or you move into a new home and within 2 or 3 years, your payment jumps up $100 or something like that, or $150, taxes increase. Now you really got a lot of people upset, okay? But I just want to put a few things in perspective as to why this has happened, okay? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't taxing jurisdictions that are abusing this a little bit, because there probably are. Whether it be state, local, or federal government, sometimes they want to get as much as they can from us citizens to help pay the bills. You know, sometimes their bills, sometimes streets. You know, all this money goes to pay for things. How that's managed, again, that's another topic for another day. But today, I just want to kind of explain to you why this is happening. Okay, why have our property taxes gone up so much in such a quick amount of time and affected so many people? So first off, I want everybody to understand that in this little statistic that I put up here in the front, is that in Dallas-Fort Worth, okay, we hit our bottom, call it, this is the peak of the 2007, but it was when the kind of our trough was down and the recession was kind of really hitting us hard. And the median home price sold for $168, okay? So since then, now granted, this is a 10-year span, but since then, home prices in Dallas-Fort Worth have gained 73% of that value back, okay? So they've gone up that much in that amount of time, from 2007 to today. Now it's not incredibly unusual when you spread it out over 10 years to have a certain level of appreciation, but that is pretty significant, okay? So as an example of this, and it really compressed within the last couple of years, because when you look at 2007 through say like 2011, 2012, even into 2013, we had still lower home prices. We had interest rates that were very low, taxes that were low on all these properties. So you could get into a really nice home for a really affordable price and keep your payment very low and be thrilled, okay? The downside of this, and what happened is, because DFW is such a sought after market because of jobs, because of our tax structure. And by the way, just everybody remember, we don't pay state income tax. And I should have, I didn't look this up ahead of time, and I should have, but I'm not sure how many states do, like what the percentage is, if it's 50 or 50% of the states do state income tax or less. Somebody might have to help me out on that, but I do know a good chunk of states, because we deal with people on a regular basis moving into Texas. They'll come in and say, hey, I'm moving here, like Utah, for example. Just had a couple that moved here from Utah. There's state income tax in Utah. So if you bought a $250,000 house in Utah, your property taxes might be somewhere in the neighborhood of, $1,000, maybe less, depending on where you live. You take that same property value in Texas, and your property taxes are going to be like $6,500. So there's a big jump in property taxes when you come from state to state. But again, we don't have state income tax. So the state government has to pull revenue somewhere, and they get it from property taxes. And that's helped us a lot and driven our economy and driven people into our area. But it also, when we have an appreciating market, can work against us pretty sharply in a short amount of time. So just to give you an idea, just since 2017, it's increased almost 12% in market appreciation for a house that you bought just almost a year and a half ago. So you've had that much jump in a short amount of time. So why does this happen? Or why do my taxes go up so much after I buy my house? So here's how this works, okay? So I talk with clients about this all the time. Basically, if you have two houses that are right next door to each other and they're worth, let's say market value, $300,000 each, right? And you go in and you look at the tax value for each one of those houses, it's very likely that one of them could have a tax value of like $215,000, and one of them could have a tax value of $280,000. Why is that? The reason is because that one that's valued at 215, it's very likely that the person that owns that house has lived there for a long time. Okay, they've lived there through this appreciation, and most counties have a cap on how much they can raise your value every year, and it ranges, I think, anywhere between 8 and 14% depending on where you live. But they all have a cap on what they can push it up to, and that's it. So every year they can't raise your house any more than that. Now, where this comes into play is when you buy that same house with a lower value, and you're the new homeowner, the counties then remove that rule and say they can't increase it 10 or 15 or whatever percent because the property changes hands. So now they can go in and they can assess that property what they feel is the market value. Okay. Now the process to that and how they do that, I'm not going to get into all of that. You can go look that up and find that out. But what I want you to understand is that once you buy a property and you buy a house, within a year or two, the county can now reassess that house at the new value and charge you more in tax. Your tax rate,
right.
Okay, the rate did not increase. The value of your home increased. Okay, why does that happen, and why does that not happen right away? So the reason we're getting a lot of people now in 2019 of May, which, oh, by the way, your deadline to dispute your taxes is May 15th. So if you want to do that, you better get on it. But why is that happening now? Well, if you bought your house in 2017, okay, and let's say you paid, whatever, $250,000, but the county assessed it at $175 because the person had been living there forever, had never sold that property. Well, what happened was you bought the house, okay, in 2017. Let's say you bought it in February. Well, the assessment generally, because let's be honest, state and federal governments are a little slow on getting things done. They're a little behind the curve. So for that first year, your taxes didn't change. And you know what? In a lot of cases, it's likely the second year your taxes didn't change very much. But by that third, and I say year, but it's that third calendar year that you're moving into the house. So you bought it in February of 2017, your taxes went. Then you go to 2018, you own the house for that full year, and then 2019, because basically your taxes are coming out from the previous year in like October or November. Now they jump on the value of your home. So in your third calendar year getting there, your mortgage payment just went up $150 because your taxes just jumped up. Okay, so it's taking a little bit of a lag to hit, but this is all from buying and selling properties in DFW when taxes were low, or excuse me, I keep saying that, when purchase prices and values were low, and now those values increase. Okay, so the value's being increased. Now again, there's taxing jurisdictions that are abusing this. I've even seen people that are filing lawsuits right now, like counties against how much they've increased it. And I'm sure there is some level of I don't know, abuse is probably the wrong word, but just mismanagement of what they're doing. I'm sure that that's probably happening in a few areas. But I still believe for the vast majority of us out there, they're being, and look, I'm being affected by it just as much as anybody else.
Right.
Dramatically in the last like it hurt. But I also know that my value has gone up dramatically. Okay, I have increased the value of my home a ton, and it's great for me. Now, it doesn't help me today because I still got to pay that tax bill. But when I go sell it, or when I pick up the equity or whatever I want to do, I've got all that equity. So it's very tough right now because nobody likes to pay taxes, and we're all being hit by this. And this is not what I would consider to be fun, but it's still happening. And as long as we understand why this has occurred and what's going on, then we can put it in perspective a little bit when we get really fired up and want to start, dropping lawsuits and stuff. So I just want everybody to be aware. What can you do to fix this? Well, number one is, if you live in the house, you need to file your homestead. Okay, right away. In most cases, that's going to reduce the value of the property anywhere between $25,000 to $35,000, depending on the county that you're in. Okay, so the homestead exemption is going to save you some money there. If you're over 65, you darn well better have your over 65 exemption in there. That's almost going to save you 50% in some cases on how much you're going to pay on taxes. And then the last thing that you can do, and right now we're in a position where I think you still have a legitimate way to pull this off, is you can protest these taxes, because a lot of people, like I said, bought their house a year and a half ago. They have an appraisal that shows what the house is worth at that point. You can take that appraisal. You can go do this yourself. You can go up to the county and protest these alone. I will tell you that you're going to be there with a lot of other people. So it's going there's going to be a big line of people that are doing the same thing, or you can pay a company to do it. You can pay a company to protest, and there's a ton of them out there that you can go in and pay a little bit too. We did that. I paid someone to go protest my taxes for me. Now, it's all kind of a how much does it cost, risk versus reward thing where, if you're going to save $500 a year on your taxes if you protest it, but it costs you $300 to protest it, maybe that's worth it, maybe it's not. I don't know. It's up to you. But these are things that you can do to get your property taxes lowered and get them adjusted. But understand, the money that we're paying out goes to pay for all this stuff that that we don't have state income tax for. So as much as we all hate taxes, me included, mine just went up a ton too. We got to make sure that we understand why this is happening and what's occurring, and understand too that we're picking up value on our homes. This is all great. So what do you think, G, about these property taxes?
Well, and there was they had something the other day to show that there's a bill going through the Senate right now, the Texas Senate, to stop this. So the biggest thing as lenders and owning a home, the more people that protest their taxes, the more it's going to show that we're all unified to say, hey, our taxes are going up too much. So regardless if it goes up $1,000 or $20,000, everybody should be protesting their taxes every year, because that ultimately will keep the taxes down. The more people that continue to protest and we are a unified bunch as homeowners, the better it's going to be when it goes to the Senate and goes to the House, and to try to get Texas as a state to keep our taxes down.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to fight it, there are definitely avenues to go about doing that. But just like I said, just understand that this isn't necessarily somebody's out to get us. We are the benefit and of the appreciation of value in DFW. And so you got to go through the proper channels. But like Linda said, if we all do it together, if everybody protests and keeps fighting those values to keep the tax value low, then it kind of spreads that out a little bit. And that's really what we're ultimately trying to get done. So, if you don't like it, go protest it, reach out to your senator, reach out to your congressman, reach out to your state officials and let them know what you think about it and how it impacts you. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this isn't something that there's this big conspiracy. Everybody's out to get you. It's just we have an appreciating market, and that's what it's been going on for the last 10 years, and it's appreciated dramatically by the numbers that I can show you. And so it's just a matter of those trying to keep it under control, making sure that we can all handle this burden that we have to pay now, and then making sure that our public officials are managing that money correctly. And that's really what we're at. So it's no fun paying taxes. Trust me. We all just came out of the April 15th paying the IRS, and now the county shows up and they take our money. It's like, oh.
And now Christmas is coming. Someone was playing Christmas music yesterday. It's like, wow, mind blown.
I got Mother's Day in 2 weeks. I got to buy all kinds of, I got all kinds of women in my life. We got to go get nice gifts for. So.
Well, that's really great information. So again, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. We've got a fantastic team of real estate agents that will help you protest your taxes. So any questions, reach out to Mike and I, or text Own My Home to 474747, and we would love to answer any questions that you have on this lovely topic that we all hate to pay on.
Oh, taxes. Boo. All right.
Boo. All right, back to home.